I like how the introduction is set up as, a bad dream. This is very well done because usually when a dream is being simulated visually, there's usually sort of an editing technique used to distinguish the difference between reality and dreams. But this wasn't the case. Instead, it all looked the same, which I think is a very creative method because as the viewer, it makes it more difficult to differentiate between the dream and reality, which is what the main character is going through. So us as the audience are in the same sort of emotional turmoil as our main character. And so I think that was very well done because we're sort of placed in with her in this. We're watching it and we're sort of outside, but we're placed in her with it. So we also don't know the end as much as she does. We're kind of taken through this whirlwind of not knowing and questioning every single thing if it's dream or reality.
I really enjoyed the storyline of the film, tying current and past connections, notably around an old photo. The lead performance was excellent, displaying feelings of dread. Lots of mystery around what unfolds for the main character. Clever nighttime scenes suggesting past and future events. I love the bluish lighting in the piece, it gives the film an ominous feel. I also enjoyed the soundtrack with the clanging sounds, perfect for the tone of this piece. Fabulous cinematography, notably the dizzying shots of the spiral staircase.
It definitely has a very eerie, haunting atmosphere. It's kind of a simple premise, but just a moment to moment really makes it work. The actors did a really nice job. The lead especially was just did a really good job in conveying just the tension and the terror of what she's going through. Interesting to have this kind of stalker character, this phantom following her, and you're wondering if it's even real. And in the end, he gets her. So it's a shock for sure. But yeah, and I really like the score, especially. It was very off kilter and very strange. It really worked.
A silhouette with just glowing eyes is something that will certainly haunt me for a couple of days. It was really creepy, and I think it's because it's something that's familiar in dark alleyways, that you see these eyes and you don't know what it is, but the script really is a good thriller. It's one that has twists and turns, because I at first thought maybe the boyfriend was the stalker, when it turns out it was actually a stranger that appears to be her biological father. I don't know. It's quite terrifying. There's twists and turns. It's definitely not predictable like a lot of horror films are.
Their cinematography was fantastic, especially in like the low light areas where they were doing a lot of outdoor shots and stuff like that. You could still see everything and the colors popped. It was really, really nice. The music in this was so specific and it was so unique, and I loved it, and it fit the film really, really well. The entire film kind of had this, for me, Halloween vibe, and I love horror movies. I love Halloween. So I really appreciated kind of what they did with this to make it their own, because the music that they chose, if I were to hear that music anywhere, I would think of this film. Kind of the same way you hear those opening notes of Halloween, you think of Halloween. So I liked how they did the special effects. They had these red eyes. I thought that that was really cool. And I loved the twist at the end where you actually find out who that silhouette is.
I loved that you just, followed her as she's doing whatever she can to try and piece it together after clearly having gone through something terrifying and very, very traumatic with, getting stabbed and, having the friend completely disappear off the grid and things like that. But I thought this was really well done. I really loved the kind of slow hunt and the slow kind of controlled walking and movement that the villain did. And I thought that almost makes it creepier. It almost makes it worse than when you have something really frantic, because that's like in the throes of, what could be like a passion, or like in the throes and the heat of the moment. But when you have something that controlled and that slow and that intentional with how he was moving, how he was stalking all these different people, how he was stalking her, that's so much creepier to me. That's so much more terrifying.